Before the rockets and billions, Elon Musk was just a boy in South Africa, bullied so badly he once landed in the hospital and trapped in a broken home with a painful relationship with his father. Books became his escape, fueling dreams too big for the world around him. At 17, with little money and no safety net, he left for North America. Life didn't suddenly get easier. He worked odd jobs, slept on couches, and struggled through college. But every setback built something in him. While others saw just a skinny kid with wild dreams, Elon was quietly building resilience, the kind that would one day turn failure, rejection, and near bankruptcy into stepping stones toward changing the world. Elon Musk's childhood in South Africa was anything but easy. The world often sees his brilliance and success, but few know the environment that shaped him. He grew up in a country still marked by tension, violence, and unrest. For a quiet, introverted boy like Elon, school was not a safe place. He was an easy target, small, awkward, and different from the other kids. They beat him so badly once that he was thrown down a staircase and hospitalized for days. The scars weren't just physical, they lingered in his memory, shaping his need to become stronger. But if school was harsh, home was even more complicated. His relationship with his father was strained, filled with moments that left Elon carrying wounds far deeper than bruises. Many would have crumbled under the weight of it all, but Elon found a secret weapon: books. He devoured them endlessly, from science fiction epics that sparked his imagination to dense manuals on engineering and physics. Through those pages, he discovered entire worlds far bigger than his own. While the chaos around him tried to cage him, Elon's mind kept expanding. Computers became his playground, and dreams of space, invention, and exploration became his escape. The bullies could bruise his body, and his home life could weigh heavy on his spirit, but the one thing no one could take from him was his curiosity. It became the spark that pushed him forward, planting the seeds of resilience that would later define his life. When Elon finally left South Africa behind, he carried little more than dreams and an unshakable will. Arriving in North America with almost nothing, he expected opportunity, but instead, he met walls. He was rejected, dismissed, and told his ideas were too wild to work. He applied for jobs, only to be overlooked. Investors shut the door on him, over and over again. But Elon had a secret weapon: his tolerance for struggle. He didn't demand comfort. He could survive on the bare minimum. While others chased stability, Elon was willing to sacrifice it all for the chance to build. He slept on the floors of tiny office spaces, using his backpack as a pillow. Showers weren't guaranteed. Sometimes he used local gyms just to stay clean. Meals were cheap, repetitive, and sparse. His early ventures didn't look promising. Zip2, his first company, struggled to find footing. Investors doubted him. He was laughed at, rejected by those who couldn't see past the rough edges of his vision. But every failure was fuel. Every no only sharpened his resolve. Elon refused to let go. It was here that the shift began. The boy who once escaped through books was now building worlds of his own. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was daring to create. The nights on office floors, the hunger, the countless rejections, they weren't setbacks. They were the foundation. The pain that once made him an outsider was now the very force that made him unstoppable. PayPal nearly broke him. Lawsuits, power struggles, and betrayal almost crushed the company before it ever became a success. Elon was pushed aside as CEO, humiliated in front of investors, forced to watch others take control of his creation. Most people would have quit, sold out, or walked away. But Elon didn't. He learned. He waited. And when PayPal finally sold, he didn't cash out for comfort. He put it all back on the line. That gamble led to SpaceX. And SpaceX nearly bankrupted him. 3 rocket launches, 3 failures. Each one exploded in the sky, millions of dollars gone in seconds. With every failure, critics grew louder: "This man is insane. He's wasting money. He'll never succeed." By the 4th launch, he was broke. He had to choose between letting go of the dream or risking everything. He risked it all. And this time, the rocket flew. At the same time, Tesla nearly destroyed him. Investors doubted the idea of electric cars. The press mocked him. Factories burned through cash. Deadlines failed. Bankruptcy loomed over him like a storm. He poured in his last dollars, working 100-hour weeks, sleeping on factory floors, refusing to stop. The world laughed. Experts rolled their eyes. They said it was impossible. But Elon had a rule. When rockets explode, build another. When money runs out, invest everything again. The pain didn't weaken him, it forged him. Every disaster became proof that he could not be broken. He wasn't fighting for just cars or rockets. He was fighting for belief. For the idea that the impossible could become possible. For the belief that even an outsider, a boy once beaten in South Africa, dismissed as strange, told he would never belong, could change the trajectory of humanity. When Elon faced bankruptcy, he had every reason to quit. He could have retired comfortably after PayPal. He could have chosen safety. But he refused. He put every dollar, every ounce of energy, every sleepless night into building a future no one else could see. For Elon, Tesla wasn't just a car company. It was proof that the world could move beyond oil, that electric cars didn't have to be weak, slow, or boring. Every model he pushed out, against the mockery of critics and the disbelief of giants like GM and Ford, was a battle for credibility. A battle for a cleaner, bolder future. And SpaceX. That wasn't about building rockets for fun. It was about humanity itself. About refusing to let our species be chained to one fragile planet, vulnerable to collapse. He believed we could reach Mars. Colonize new worlds. Extend the human story beyond Earth. People laughed. Governments ignored him. Even NASA doubted him. But every launch was Elon shouting back at the world, "I will not be defined by fear. I will not be silenced by failure." The truth he fought for was larger than wealth, larger than status. It was about resilience. About teaching the world that the boy mocked in classrooms, the man rejected by investors, could not only survive, he could build. He could inspire. He could redefine what was possible. And so, when the rockets finally landed safely, when Tesla rolled cars people dreamed of owning, when the world finally saw what he had been building all along, it wasn't just a victory for Elon. It was a victory for belief itself. Elon Musk's story isn't about wealth. It isn't about cars, or rockets, or even technology. It's about resilience. About the kind of grit that refuses to break. No matter how heavy the pressure, no matter how deep the pain. He was bullied until his body gave out. He was betrayed by those closest to him. He was rejected by investors, mocked by experts, and pushed to the edge of bankruptcy more than once. Yet every time he stood back up. Not because it was easy, but because he believed that pain is not the end, it is the beginning. Greatness isn't born. It's built. Built in silence, when no one is watching. Built in rejection, when the world says no. Built in struggle, when the odds are stacked so high that failure feels certain. Elon's journey reminds us that success is never about luck, it is about persistence. It is about daring to dream so big that others laugh, and having the courage to keep going long after the laughter fades. His lesson to the world is simple. Do not wait for the perfect path. Do not fear rejection or failure. Use them. Every bruise, every scar, every no can be fuel, if you let it. The boy who once escaped into science fiction books became the man who turned fiction into reality. And if his story proves anything, it's this: you don't need to be born great to achieve greatness. You need to endure. You need to build. You need to rise. If this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe to the Resilience Vault for more powerful stories like this. And tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from?